back, action.
So people were trying to back Okay, so one thing for me, people know that I'm always passionate about the events. This event wouldn't have been put together the way it is if we didn't have people here in Melbourne who worked so hard behind the scenes, donating money, cash in kind. We have people pay for flights, we have people donate, we have people pay for the hall. Everybody was involved. So, but I would like to invite Arinze on stage to come just give a speech of acknowledgement to everyone, our sponsors and everyone who has donated to making this a success. Arinze. Take it back.
Action!
Take it back.
Action.
Take it back.
Action.
I can see happy faces all around here. Wow, Melbourne is doing great. Well, before I proceed, I want to do a formal introduction. Many of us right here don't know who I am. My name is Mr. Arinze, and I'm a father, a husband, and I've got 3 kids. And an event manager and a promoter as well. And before we proceed, I want to, if being given the opportunity, to crack your ribs a bit so we can cheer up and see how far we go. I have a little joke I would like to tell. Take it back, Sean. Should I proceed? Yeah. Okay. It has to do with a friend of mine who is a stammerer, a stutter, someone that stammers. And I believe some of you here must have come across people like that. And I must encourage us to always be careful with them. Okay, I'll take you back to when we were in secondary school. And I have very brilliant classmates, very outspoken, intelligent. You know what happened? We were supposed to have an English class, and the English teacher came into the class and we have to do what they call dictation. You have to dictate a word, and the longer the letters are, the more points you get. And in that classroom, I've got my friend, who is always very eager to answer every question in the classroom. And before the teacher could say a word, who's the first to make or dictate a word for the class member? And this friend of mine, his name is Mr. Sydenews. Permit me to use our broken English because they are all Nigerians. Before we can say anything, Bode raised his hand and said, promotion. Wow. The teacher was like, wow, that's brilliant. How many letter word is that? And it's a 9-letter word. So Mr. Bode, you've got 9 points. I have this Oyibo friend of mine in that classroom. The guy, too yellow, Oyibo, too fine, white boy. And I have also the next classmate of mine. Before Mr. Bode could finish with his promotion points, 9 points, he raised his hand. His name is Mr. Amechi Nwokolo. And he says, pre-science. Wow, that's awesome. How many letter word is that? It's a 10-letter word. So Mr. Bode became angry. 9 points. Amechi 10 points. And I've got another friend of mine, Mr. Charles Oguntade. He raised his hand and said, prescription. However, all the letters and the words has to start with P. So that is the assignment given, to us by the teacher. And he said prescription, and prescription is what? 12-letter words. Wow. So he's got 12 points. Omo, I did corner. All these guys, they too sabi book. I need to make a point. How am I going to do that? I remember I have a friend of mine who goes to Presbyterian church. You know, I say, oh, Presbyterian, wow, that's a long walk. So I raised my hand. Presbyterianism. 15-letter words. Wow. Mr. Bode vex. I'm making vex. Charles, I'm beating everybody. That my friend. We be Oyibo. We be stammer. Don't they vibrate the vex. You need to say something. You need to say something. Before I finish my own, I saw the Oyibo raise hand. And that my Oyibo friend of mine, his name is Mr. Bobby Ago. He's too yellow. When I heard his name as first, I was like, Oyibo, they get Igbo name, Bobby Ago. Oh, you Oyibo now, Aussie boy. Are you in this classroom? Wow. Oh yeah now. Bobby, you a stammerer. How do you want to say this? I quickly run, go peep inside Bobby book. Waiting Bobby one talk. I tire out. The guy go search out one word way long. Psychopathology. That's a medical term. And it simply means the investigation and understanding and treatment of mental disorder. But it's going to be hard for Bobby to pronounce it. Psychopathology. How does he want to do that? Oh yeah, now Bobby talk. Oh, papa. Oh, I know when Tamaras don't they behave like that, you need to give them a chance. Me, I first withdraw 50 seats. So let me tag up, so let me tell you what me slap. Teacher don't understand the system. That's what the teacher comes talk say, Mr. Bobby, what's taking your time? I thought you were already prepared to say this. And so Bobby just do as the teacher here, I so give a slap. Pathology, teacher shout, yeah. I saw everybody jump in the scale, come on. Anyway, that's just it. There's just a small joke I just have to, say to everybody. So the lesson from this is, when you have a stammerer friend of yours, and when they are provoking, they are getting upset, you just have to be very careful. Give them space, and be warned, because you can receive your own slap, I tell you. Anyway, it's a privilege of an honor for me to be here on stage and to recognize and acknowledge the sponsors of this event. And in no particular order, I would like to acknowledge the support we have received from the following people. Omoyele Showore, for reaching out to Nigerians in Australia and for being here today. We welcome you, sir. Thank you, guys. We have your back all the way. We're going to see to the end of it. Anyway, I mustn't forget our DJ in the house, DJ Danny. He's been doing good. He's the same guy that played for us at the Nigerian Independent Day event. You're recognized. Thank you, my brother. And then we have he's standing next to him. He's a very nice and active member of ASC. We'll recognize your presence here. You're welcome. And we have Akin Olusola. Olusa. Akin, my brother. Akin Olusa, and we have Ugochukwu Hero Eche. We have Amechi Adogomogolo. We have Akunle Adesuwa. We have Dr. Femi Olutayo. We have Fred Alale. I understood that Fred will make it here. Fred happens to be the former Nigerian Victoria president, if I'm not mistaken, correctly. And he dropped a message that he's going to be in Sydney for some urgent meeting that came up. So we must recognize him, Fred Alale. And then we have Ntope Akinloye. We have Yunus Olatudun. We have Jeff Osayede. And we have our beautiful sister and mother, Molly Mills. We thank you all for your support. We thank you all for all that you've done. We acknowledge all your efforts, and together we have agreed to take it back. We must take it back. Take it back.
Action.
Thank you everyone for having me here. And we must proceed as planned. Thank you.
Okay, so we would still go as planned. Thanks for listening. This is like an angel of stammer and that class was talking about. Okay, so guys, so many acknowledgements to everyone who is here, to our guests and everyone. So before we go ahead, I'll be introducing Shiwari on stage. You know, let's keep it quick, let's keep it brief, let's get to the crux of the matter. And just a quick introduction. So before I just do a quick bio intro of Shiwari, I will just play a quick video on his timeline, when he started and how he got here. So it's just a short video. Let's hope I don't mess up with this video.
Take it back.
Action. AAC, take it back.
So just a summary of this timeline before I get into details about the career and inviting the participants who are teaching to ask questions. Who is Shiwari? Who is this guy? Really talking about that. Let's see what he has. Let's get to know about his mission, his plan, what plan he has for Nigeria. Okay, it's really quick, just 3 minutes.
Take it back. Come on, more boys. Take it back.
And a presidential candidate in the Nigerian 2019 election. His New York-based Sahara Reporters in Nigeria is Nigeria's most reliable news source, tackling corruption with investigative journalism. It engages over 10 million viewers monthly worldwide. He's an alumnus of Columbia University with master's degrees in public administration. For those people who say you don't get experience. He has been passionate about good governance in Africa, and upon declaring his intention to run for presidency held in February this year, he's traveled several countries around the world, engaging Nigerians in diaspora and locally. And that's going to make him one of the first presidential candidates ever from Nigeria to engage Nigerians in diaspora and locally as well. He's also going to be the first ever presidential candidate to visit Nigerians in Australia. Take it back.
Action. Take it back. Action.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Moyele Shiwari.
Nigerian restructuring. We can see in the dark. We are rockers, pointing out the stars. Nigerians have beautiful hearts, but our bad leaders sold us down to the river too far. What about us? What about all the times you said you had the answers? What about us? What about all the broken happy ever afters? What about us? What about all the plans that ended in disaster? What about love? What about trust? What about us? We have problems that need to be solved. We have children that need to be loved. We were willing, we came when we cold. But man, you fooled us. Enough is enough. Sticks and stones may break these bones, but then we will be ready. Children, are you ready? Take it back. Women, are you ready?
Take it back!
Men, are you ready?
Take it back.
Nigerians, are you ready?
Take it back. Thank you so much. That's a beautiful one from Michael Alofokai, who's the son of the lady who is filming me to my left here, Dupsi Bolodioku Alofokai, who's been my host in Brisbane the last 2 days. I am excited to be with you today, and I bring plenty of greetings and love from Nigeria, your home country. And I understand that it's 10 a.m. in Nigeria now. People have woken up just as we're going to sleep. When I was coming from Nigeria, I told them I was coming to the end of the world. But I got here and discovered that it's the beginning of the world. So Australia, thank you so much for making this possible. I want to thank everybody that's been involved in making this a possibility. This is the second attempt to actually visit Australia after we declared some 8 months ago to rescue Nigeria. I mean, I'm using the word we because all of us are engaged in this project. Myself, yourself, your children, your grandparents at home, the unemployed, the abused, the disrespected, people who have been mismanaged by a political class that is discredited and ultimately must be abandoned in our life. So we are here once again, as you have been told, to discuss the future of our country, Nigeria. Nigeria is 200 million people. It's just 1/4 the size of Australia. Australia is 4 times bigger than Nigeria. But Australia has got 27 million people, Nigeria has got 200 million people. Very interesting people, very dynamic people, very brilliant people, very hardworking people. But unfortunately, we have one bad luck, leadership in Nigeria. And that leadership is not only affecting the progress of the Nigerian nation and its people, it's affecting the progress of one of the most continents in the world, the African continent. So what did we decide some 8 months ago? I and a lot of friends of ours decided that we'll throw our hats in the ring to challenge the political cabals in Nigeria, to make sure that we end their reign and we retire them permanently, sufficiently enough that our country can experience progress, prosperity, and peace. And that message has gone round the world. It has also gone round Nigeria, taking me to about 30 states within Nigeria, out of 36 states. It has also taken me to almost now some 15 cities around the world or more. We've done over 100 events, town hall meetings, just meeting and greeting Nigerians, entering into churches, going to mosques, marketplaces, visiting the grassroots, visiting palaces, and all kinds of places. People are exchanging ideas, engaging massively on social media. And where we are today is that we can report to you that Nigerians are ready to take their country back now. And Nigerians are not only ready in Nigeria, Nigerians are ready all over the world, united to bring an end to the misery that has been visited upon our country and our people all over the world. If I ask you here, one thing that you would love to see or do is to return back to your homeland, Nigeria. Yes, we are here in Australia. It doesn't matter how beautiful it is, how nice, warm, cold it might be. Every time we wake up in the morning, before we go to sleep, anytime we meet our other colleagues, fellow Nigerians, what are we talking about? We're talking about how Nigeria can become a better place. As I often do, when I travel on these trips, we live stream on the good things that are happening in other places. And it's very sad to report to you that in all the countries that I've been in the world, including on the continent of Africa, this includes South Africa and Ghana, there is nowhere that we have been that is not better than Nigeria. There's no airport that I've flown into anywhere in the world that is not better, bigger, better organized than our airports in Nigeria. There is no school that I've been to outside of Nigeria, including in Ghana. Ghana, of all places, that is not better than the schools we have in Nigeria. There is no hospital that I have been to outside of Nigeria that is not better than the hospitals in Nigeria. There is no road that I have driven on or be driven on that is not better than the roads in Nigeria. So the question you ask of yourself all the time is, who caused us? Who did this to us? Particularly because we are also some of the most religious people in the world. So, by experience, by faith, we are closer to God. So why is it that we are closer to God, but yet God does better for people who are not as close as we are to Him? So there must be something wrong. But there's no big deal about what is wrong with Nigeria, because Nigeria continues to reward the enemy of Nigeria with social and political promotion from time to time. And in 2019, Nigeria is about to make another fundamental mistake. I repeat it, a number of fundamental mistakes or errors, as they say in maybe soccer, unforced errors, or an unforced error of voting into office a president that will be working against the interest of Nigeria. And you and I know who these two candidates are, because there are about 91 political parties, but not all the political parties have presented presidential candidates. But now we have two major political parties, the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party. In Nigeria Palace, we call the APC All Promises Cancelled, or All Past Criminals. And the PDP is referred to as People Deceiving People. Yes, that's their name in Nigeria. If by chance we make a mistake of voting for any of these two guys, sorry, this is not supposed to be our slideshow, or any of these two political parties, Nigeria is going down the toilet. It's not as if we are not there yet, but they're about to flush us down completely, the system. And as I tell people, if Abubakar Atiku wins the election, he will put Nigeria on eBay or Alibaba. He will sell Nigeria finally. Yes. If Buhari wins, well, good luck to everybody who is expecting any form of progress. So we have clearly some 4 months to steer Nigeria in a different direction. And the direction is a direction of hope, it's a direction of progress, it's a direction of unprecedented development. Because now we have young people who have signified their intention to rescue Nigeria with the help of other young people or even older people. I don't want to make it sound like in an attempt to save Nigeria, we have this schism that is a division between the old and the young. Our contention is not that people are old or young. As you know, there are young people in Nigeria who are completely useless in political office. I don't want to name names so that I don't waste your time, but you know them. And there are old people who are not exactly bad. But our problem is that we have a problem of the age of the ideas of the young old people who have been running Nigeria. So what am I trying to tell you? The same guys who have been in Nigeria, running Nigeria since probably some of you were born, or some of you, your adult life, are the same people still running Nigeria in 2018. And subsequently, they want to continue in 2019. So if you were around in 1983, you knew a young guy named Buhari. He was 42 years old at the time he became the head of state, right? If you were around in 1992 and you heard about two political parties, the National Republican Convention, NRC, and the Social Democratic Party, SDP, you knew of SDP presidential candidates, aspirants in those days. A guy named Abubakar Atiku contested against MKO Abiola during their Jos convention. He was also 42 years old. But today, these same people are in their 70s. Atiku is about 73 years old, and Buhari is officially, his football age, soccer age, is around 76. But people who know him very well says he's around 80 something. His younger sister is 82 years old, officially. And this is the truth. He himself even went to London last year after spending some 100 days. He came and gladly announced to Nigeria that his doctors found that he's 1 year older than his declared age. Told Nigerians. I'm not making this up. So we come from a very bizarre country where the president of the country is older than the country. Nigeria is 58 years old. Our president is 80-something years old. So you can imagine the reason why we are not making progress. And what we are doing now is that I, Omoyele Sowore, has presented myself to lead Nigeria to the path of glory. I have presented myself to lead Nigeria to a new form of renaissance. I presented myself to dedicate our commitment to a future that is different, because I know, based on experience, based on research, based on integrity, and also experience, a pedigree that is well known, that Nigeria could be completely better than what it is today. So, but as I mentioned earlier, people who were in their 40s, head of state of Nigeria, are asking me at the age of 47, what experience did I have? In fact, some Nigerians who have internalized oppression so badly that they can't think are asking that I should go and start from the local government at the age of 47. Not only am I 47 years old, I have a master's degree. I have traveled the world, having spent 19 years living in the US. I have exposure, right? And I have a clear understanding of how to run the country. I'm healthy, largely physically and mentally. You know, a lot. Thank you. As you guys love to ask me, I have enough stamina to steer the ship of state in a positive direction, to steer it out of turbulence and out of the systematic and hysteric condition of destruction into which he has been placed in the last 58 years. And somebody asking for experience. But the truth is that I have experience, great experience in doing what is right as a young person, helping to fight for democratic rule in the country, as a young person setting up one of the best media houses that competed globally. In fact, of all the presidential candidates today in Nigeria, I'm probably the only person who has ever invented something in Nigeria. The rest of them never invented anything. They stole and destroyed. And the more they stole, the more they are rewarded with social and political promotion. And that is what I'm asking that we should end this time around. And I'm not reading from any paper. I'm speaking from the bottom of my heart. I'm speaking from the bottom of you guys' hearts as well. I'm saying and giving life and breathing oxygen into our collective desire to change our objective conditions in Nigeria. That never again should Nigeria experience the kind of terrible leadership we've had in the last 58 years. That never again should Nigeria be burdened by a burdensome and wicked political set of people that we now refer to as political cabals, whose only interest is to strangulate the development of the country. Nigeria is today completely in a state of arrested development. Anytime there's a chance for Nigeria to make progress, these leaders will go and squeeze Nigeria's neck so that Nigeria don't experience the kind of progress that other people take for granted in the world. One of the things I do when I travel to places like Australia is to live stream to the rest of Nigeria, say to our brothers and sisters and say, look at what we take for granted. We just came from a neighborhood where we're staying, and I was asking them, the neighborhood looks like the richest neighborhood in Nigeria, like Lekki and Victoria Island and Maitama. And my host or our hosts were telling us that poor people live there. Well, it depends on what you call poor. The people you describe as poor in Australia are our own rich people in Nigeria. This is the truth. Because they are living in all these nice houses. You know, we have a lake, artificial lake in front of the place. They have sideways, the highways are okay. They're talking about education, you're talking about renewable energy. You see solar panels all over their houses, and you can feel governance. It's as if here you are assaulted with good governance. You know, here they punish you with good governance. In Nigeria, they punish us with bad governance. And we must reach a point in the life of Nigeria that all of us must bond together and make a pledge, which is not the national pledge, not the national anthem. It's a pledge that the dignity of the Nigerian person must be restored. We must get to a point in the life of Nigeria, we must say, enough is enough, that we cannot continue like this. And it depends and behooves on every one of us. We must, for the first time, for those who have never done it before, I have done it since I went to the university, become conscientious objectors against the kind of systematic rotten governance or governors of Nigeria. We must say to them, at this point, we are not going to accept you to continue to drive our future into perdition. So that's why I'm here. And in doing this, the question is, how are we going to do this? How do we want to approach the world? Some of us are so overwhelmed with the situation of Nigeria that we've given up. In fact, what I hear from a lot of people is that saying, look, until you guys came on board, I had given up on Nigeria. Some people don't plan to go back to Nigeria anymore. Because for you to travel to Nigeria, you know, you have to pray for months that you make it through common customs or police, kidnappers, and that there are no highways in Nigeria that can take you from the airport to your final destination without somebody hearing bad news. As we started this meeting with today, 3 young people who were campaigning for one of our governorship candidates in Delta State plunged into a river in Agbaro in Delta State. Last month, the same place, somebody plunged, a whole car plunged into the river. Reason, every bridge, as you know, by every standard should be constructed with guardrails to the left and right. The one in Delta, this particular one in Agbaro, had no guardrails. If it had, it's inferior type, because they've stolen and robbed Delta into a stone age. But it's not only Delta, it's the rest of Nigeria. Again, I come back to how. And we have developed a 10-point agenda, template to rescue Nigeria. What are Nigeria's biggest problems? A lot of problems. Depends on who you are asking. If you ask somebody in the Niger Delta region, they will tell you it's pollution. If you ask somebody in the northern part of Nigeria, they'll tell you it's security. If you ask somebody in the middle of Nigeria, they'll tell you it's hunger, starvation, agriculture. But we know that there are 10 things that must be done simultaneously. What we call pari passu, for Nigeria to experience the kind of development and progress it needs to experience. And one of it is that every Nigerian must feel secure inside Nigeria, security. The second aspect of it is power. Without electricity, energy, we are not going anywhere. I don't care what anybody tells you. It is not happening that you can have development when you don't have energy, you don't have power, you don't have lights, as we call it in Nigeria. Number 3 is that infrastructure must be taken care of in such a way that our roads, bridges, rail lines, schools are at such levels that can deliver to the hopes and aspirations of 200 people in Nigeria. Number 4 is corruption. Of course, I don't need to tell you about it. Corruption is our number 3rd religion after Christianity. Is Islam. The third thing that every Nigerian worships is corruption. The third thing that you're likely to participate in, even unconsciously, is corruption. Because if you walk into Nigeria today with the mentality of the Westerner, I don't want to give, I don't want to give. After 3 months, you discover that you can't get anything done. You start giving a little bit because your driver is corrupt. Right? The policeman is corrupt, your mechanic is corrupt, your megad is corrupt, and they don't see anything wrong with it. Everybody somehow is participating in it. But it is not as much as everybody is corrupt as a problem, but that the leadership is forcing people to be corrupt. Because you can't get services delivered to you without being corrupt. You cannot get a teacher to teach your kids without having to go and bribe the teacher. Even if it is with yam or plantain, right? You can't get a doctor to treat you without somehow offering something in return for the treatment. You can't get a university lecturer or professor, as we call them, to teach you properly without giving sex in return for proper marks in the university. You can't get anything done without corruption. The next thing is an economy that works for the Nigerian people. You have heard about the Nigerian economy. I don't want to go there. I believe that Nigeria don't even have an economy. We are just doing what we call a rub bumble. It is rub my back, I rub your back economy that we do in Nigeria. But the real economy that will work for Nigeria is the kind of economy that provides jobs for the teeming young population of the country. Over 70% of our young people are below the age of 30. A lot of them have graduated from university, no jobs. And with security in place, with power infrastructure in place, we can employ over 5 million Nigerians within 2.5 years. Why am I saying this? If you guys have read news in the last few days about Africa, you know that Egypt just delivered on a 150, I think it's about 17,000 megawatts of electricity that was completed in 2.5 years. Nigeria has not been able to complete the Lagos-Ibadan highway just to refurbish it in 20 years. I'm sure you find your neighbor something that has not been completed since you have been around. The next thing is, of course, this restructuring of Nigeria. This is one touchy subject that affects a lot of people, especially from the south. It is done in such a way that the debate is tearing Nigeria apart. The people in the north think that restructuring of Nigeria means that Nigeria will break and they will lose access to Nigeria's resources that is coming from the south. The people in the middle feels like, well, restructuring will give them the kind of protection they need from their overlords. And the people in other parts of Nigeria think that, well, restructuring will empower people more. No, what we're saying is that if you want to restructure Nigeria, you have to fundamentally change the document that governs Nigeria, which is the Nigerian Constitution. The Nigerian Constitution is a fake and fraudulent document imposed on it by the Nigerian military, not the people of Nigeria. And what we are saying is that if you want to restructure Nigeria at any rate, you must allow young people to be in the driver's seats that will restructure Nigeria, because our future that is at stake. Everywhere in the world, as you know here, young people are the ones determining the leadership or how the state of, the ruler of the state is engineered everywhere else in the world. I heard in Australia, you guys love change so much that you change your prime minister almost every week. You know, we need to be in a position where at least every 4 years we can change our leaders if they are not performing very, very well. So restructuring is very important to us, but restructuring is it's not just the buzzwords of state police, devolution of power. It has to be something that is fundamentally more cohesive and compelling than just what you are hearing. And what I say, or what we have said from our team, Take It Back, and our party, African Action Congress, is that restructuring cannot happen without engaging young people in the restructuring project. And the first way to start is to elect a vibrant, brilliant, exposed young person with integrity, with capacity, with capability, and an understanding of how to make things work in Nigeria. And the restructuring will start from there. Next to restructuring is, of course, health. When we did our research starting from this, health is the #1 need of most Nigerians. Reason is that as we speak, over 70 to 80 million Nigerians have never met a doctor before. And when they are lucky to meet a doctor, the doctor is not diagnosing what is wrong with them. The doctor is advising them based on the complaints they brought to the doctor. So if you go to meet a Nigerian doctor, you tell him what is wrong with you. It is not the doctor who is treating you based on what is wrong with you. What I'm saying is that if you go to a hospital here in Australia, before a doctor tells you what's wrong with you, they carry out tests. They test your urine, they look at your eyes, they test your temperature. In Nigeria, the doctor sees you and say, what is wrong with you? You even tell him, sir, I have malaria. You know, and because malaria is the commonest ailment in Nigeria. The doctor then starts treating you based on your own diagnosis. Say, you have malaria, yes, sir. And they start putting you on anti-malaria drugs. If it doesn't go in 3 days, you come back to the doctor and say, the malaria has not gone. He says, so what is wrong with you this time? You say, well, I have typhoid. So after the doctor treats you for another 6 days and your typhoid is not disappearing, you come back and say, doctor, the problem has not gone anywhere. He will say, go and see your pastor. Or then when your pastor sees you, he says somebody is bothering you in your family. And that is our healthcare system in a nutshell. It might sound funny to you, but I'm sure you have heard this story before. You have lost somebody.
Take it back.
Take it back.
Action.
You have lost somebody to misdiagnosis. I'm sure. You've lost somebody. Our friend here, they lost a member of the family. She had thrombosis. And the doctor diagnosed that she had a fracture and put a POP on thrombosis. You know, this is somebody who has blood clots in her leg. A doctor went and put POP over it until she started telling the doctor, I'm not feeling better, the pain is getting worse. The doctor said, don't worry, until she died. So we lose people like that every time. So health is the #1 priority. And what do we intend to do? We intend to hire people, over 160,000 health professionals, to find into the Nigerian society or communities and start, even if it is by checking people's blood pressure, because the greatest killer in Nigeria, and as I know, or that I've heard about of these health diseases, a lot of people don't even check their blood pressure. And you know, when you see people falling and dying, or they don't wake up the next day, instead of trying to find out what killed them, they start pointing out witches and wizards in their family who killed them in their sleep. That is not the way to govern a country. Right? You hardly can find a teaching hospital in Nigeria that can be called a hospital. In fact, they used to call Nigerian hospitals consulting centers. They are no longer consulting centers because you can't even find any medical consultants left in the country. Most of them have left the country. But a lot of them are willing to come back if they find the conditions that can help them to come. In fact, a lot of Nigerian medical professionals are willing to go back to Nigeria and work for free if they can have a country that can accommodate their expertise and skill sets. So it is very, very important that health is made a priority, because without health, we can't have wealth. And the next other three things are, of course, education, and these things are not strange to you. You practically have education here. I saw some Nigerians yesterday at University of Queensland who told me they're here on scholarship, provided by the Australian government, not the Nigerian government. But the small country of Liberia just declared free tuition in their university 3 days ago. Nigeria has got no education. You know, our education system again is such that a professor believes that until you fail, he has not taught you. Yes, I've been a professor in the university in the US for 8 years. If the number of students failing in your class is higher than is expected, you are the one who will get fired. But in Nigeria, a professor is promoted based on the number of people they fail. They will even tell you in your first day of class that how many people are, say 40 something. So last year, only 3 people passed my class. How can you say that on your first day of class? It's the kind of mindset we have, but beyond that is also the problem of curriculum, which needs to be changed. After that is agriculture. And you are here in Australia, the Australian government is always asking for help. You know, asking Nigeria to call for help, you know, to have some kind of partnership so that we can grow our land, we can till and cultivate our land. There are millions and millions of acres of land to be grown in Nigeria, but because farmers are not getting the right kind of help they need, they're not getting extension services, they're not getting the kind of loans they need, Africa or Nigeria cannot boast of food security. Instead of governors buying tractors, they are buying what they call Prado Jeeps. You find a governor with 50 Prado Jeeps, and there is no tractor, no one single tractor in his state. So our priorities are wrong. Finally, is tourism, and after saying that, you know what I'm talking about. Tourism is not just something you decree into existence, right? It has to be something that is developed with other conditions that are supposed to encourage people to come to your country. For example, if you don't have security, it doesn't matter how many Olumo rocks you have in your country, nobody's coming near your country. If there are no roads, infrastructure, it doesn't matter how many Kogosi, spring, warm water, or, you know, blood water you have, nobody's coming to your country. And you know that today, even as Nigerians, most of you will prefer to go to Jamaica or other Caribbean islands for holiday than to go to Nigeria. You know, most people go to Nigeria out of pity or because of nostalgia. And when before you go, you know what it is. And when you want to take your children to Nigeria, you know how much effort it takes to get your children to travel with you. Because first, they keep telling you, Daddy, I don't want to go to Nigeria. And when you take your children to Nigeria and you bring them back, most likely they don't want to go back, right? And it then becomes a situation that the only time you remind your children about your country is when you want to use Nigeria to threaten your children, when they don't behave at home. You tell them, I'm taking you to Nigeria. I say, Daddy, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it for you. I don't want to go to Nigeria. Never. So this is our story, and this is how we intend to intervene. And we want you to interrogate these ideas that we have put together. In having these town hall meetings, there's something I love about it. We don't make any assumptions that we already know everything. In fact, these town hall meetings we've been having around the world has helped us to understand how many Nigerians are out there who even know better than those of us who are contesting. You know, the skill sets, the brilliance, the intelligence, the exposure of Nigerians is amazing. And you guys have to just just be thankful that we are still out there doing great things. The only place that don't work for a Nigerian person is the Nigerian nation. The moment they take you out of Nigeria, you shine. But in Nigeria, it's like they're always perpetually using buckets to cover your candles or your lantern. It's like you must not shine. It's the business of leadership in the country to make sure that you don't progress. And that must change. So on that note, I want to thank you all once again for coming to this event tonight. I know it's Friday night, you could have been elsewhere, but you are really, really concerned about the progress of the country and you're taking out time to come see us. And we want to thank you so much for taking our time to see us. And I've been told that you have questions. And there's usually a lot of questions and loaded questions. Feel free to ask the questions and I will be glad to answer to the best of my ability. Thank you once again for coming. Thank you.
Action! Action!
Only number 4, right? Yeah. Number 5, I'm going in red. Number 6, sir. Number 7, are you using your answer? Number 8, class. Number 9, Elvis. Number 10, the guy. No, yeah, you. Yeah. So please let's note our number. So we take the first 3. Sure, we jot it down. We address this one. After that batch of 3, we take another batch of 3. I believe that is pretty clear. Okay. So let's go. You give us your name and just briefly what you do in Australia, because we also want to harvest our area of expertise, because in another 2-3 years, many of us will be rushing to get back to Nigeria to make our professional knowledge to get back to the country. So please, very briefly, straight to the point, sir. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good evening. Thank you for coming today. My name is Sunny Chikuran. I've actually come today to really say thank you for standing up and saying, look, it's enough. It's time for people to actually, fight and really get a good country that works for them, and not a place where people are treated like foods and animals. So I've actually got a few questions for you today. I'm trying to make them really easy. So I want to understand, what is the food base of, the ANC party? So I understand now it's not just a party, it's a movement. So I want to understand how, the hierarchy of the party works. So, how do people, give accountability for what they've done, and what is being done. And then the second thing is, accountability in terms of finances. So, I've seen that you have a GoFundMe page that people can actually contribute into. So how does the accountability for that work? And the third thing is, now I've actually come to let people know that this is actually not just a Nigerian movement. This is an African movement. My brother over here is from South Sudan. So, he wants to see a good Nigeria because he knows that, invariably, if Nigeria is better, other countries will be better. So, what is your link? What do you have in mind, to put into place when you become a president? I really do hope you get to that stage. To do with other countries that are dealing with a lot of these issues, like Cameroon. Oh my goodness, that guy is the worst person ever. So, pretty much that's my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 2, please.
Hello, my name is Kenneth. Thank you very much for coming this far to Australia. I have a very simple question. I do like your ideas and what you stand for, what you believe in. I totally support your idea. I think Nigeria needs change and need a new prospect. We need to see the future, a better future for Nigeria. My question is, how are you planning on going about this? On winning this election, because it's a really tough one. It's going to be a struggle and a big fight. I'd just like to know what's the plans you've got in place, because I want us, the young people, and everybody that believe in you, Nigeria, to support you. So we really want to fully understand what the plans you've got to be able to take this election, take on this election, take on these 2 big guns, and to be able to win the election. Because I think that's very important. It will also help your campaign as well, if we try to understand what's the plan. So,
thank you for giving us your background.
Okay, I come from a finance accounting background. I do have a finance qualification from Cornell in the US. I'm doing a master's in evaluation, University of Melbourne, and I work with sponsors.
That's good. You're going to give us your professional background, just brief.
Right, I actually work as a system security engineer, so all things hacking, basically.
Thank you. Number 3, please. Who's number 3?
Good evening, everybody, and to our president, to be, thank you for coming. I want to make a comment and ask a question, and I will introduce myself as well. My name is Pule Adisha. I'm the director of Tripartite Food and Infinite Possibility Consultancy. My job is not limited to food manufacturing alone. I consult on agro-based industry, how to add value to agricultural products. Like, for example, cocoa, coffee, corn will never go anywhere unprocessed into so many products. That's what I do. On the basis, the president said, people said he doesn't have experience. And this is a comment. And I would like to use this opportunity to say that the president is very inexperienced in looting, is very inexperienced in election rigging, is very inexperienced in money laundering, is very inexperienced in political assassination, and the list goes on. So we thank you, Mr. President, to be that you are very inexperienced in those things that has kept our nation down. Now, my question to Mr. President is this. There's so much impunity in Nigeria. No matter what any society does, if there's no rule of law and there's no consequences of action, taking bad action, that country will never progress. We've seen so many people indicted for corruption. They have always go and file perpetual injunction. Nobody has been convicted. The circle is a vicious circle that revolves and revolves all the time. So, Mr. President, what are you going to do about the rule of law and impunity? Because if there is no, whatever how rosy your programs are, if there is no consequence for wrongdoing, we are still going to be in the same position. So thank you, Mr. President, for having the time to come to us, and we really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And we try to keep the time, so if you go straight to the point, so that we can quickly wrap up the question and answer session.
Thank you once again. And the first question is about party, AAC party hierarchy. The AAC party has a hierarchy of leaders at the national, state, and local levels. The party is actually about 2 months old, but the movement, which is the Take It Back movement, is about 8 months old. So we have grown very fast within such a short time that most people think that we have been around forever. The great news today is that with the way we are growing, even by their own admittance, they have admitted that we are the number 3 most popular party in Nigeria of 91 political parties. The other 2 parties are popular based on bad reputation, of course, and their past records, which is horrible. But in terms of clean records, we're number 1. So I'm chairman of AAC Pro Tem. We're working towards having elections so that we can have permanent leaders elected, but most of the states have already elected their leaders, and we have grassroots representation all across Nigeria and of course internationally, including of all places, Melbourne, Australia. Today, there is no political party in Nigeria where you can find this number of people chanting their names and putting their reputations on the line to support their programs and agenda. Finance, well, we have been financing ourselves transparently through GoFundMe, which is known as crowdfunding. As of today, I think we've raised over $80-something thousand on GoFundMe, the highest amount of money ever raised by a Nigerian politician publicly and transparently. We have a Nigerian account in the Sterling Bank where we raised over almost 20-something million naira, and we announce on a regular basis how we raise funds, and also working on accounting for them on a regular basis as well. Of course, the third way of raising funds through what we are doing here tonight. Don't forget that apart from the Townhall meeting, we're actually here to raise funds. This is the reason why I'm traveling from one end of the world to the other. I have lost, count of my body clock. I don't know where I am. So that tells you how difficult it is to raise funds. In Nigeria, the other big political parties just sit back with this money they've stolen over the years. On election day, they hand out 5,000 naira, and that is how they win elections. But we want to defeat that ideology that makes people think that with stolen money you can buy people's conscience and make them vote for you. The African movement, I agree with you that this is an African-wide movement. Nigeria has always been seen as an important part of Africa. In fact, the most important part of Africa. That even South Africans, when they are doing better than Nigeria, they still say they want Nigeria to be the leading country in the world. As I usually describe Nigeria, it's like the trigger of the African continent. If you look at the African continent, it looks like a pistol facing down. And that loaded pistol cannot fire until the trigger is restored, which is Nigeria. Keller, you said, what plans do we have to win the election? It will be my advice that we caution ourselves not to expose too many of our strategies openly. Our enemies have no shame, they have no conscience. If you give them ideas, on how to win this election. But generally, we have grassroots existence. We have covered a lot of places around the country. Of course, our biggest challenge is funding. Otherwise, I would have announced to you that this election is over before the election. Nigerians are very, very keen on moving away from the recycled type of leadership that's held Nigeria down where it is today. That they are aligned with our vision, and our programs and manifesto. Nobody has been able to challenge our manifesto in terms of its ability to deliver on key areas of development. We have a manifesto that came with what they call KPIs, key performance indicators. That is, we can actually measure how we're doing from time to time, on a quarterly basis, on a monthly basis. I am not going to become a president of Nigeria that will celebrate 100 days in office, as if people need to wait for 100 days before they eat, or a president that will wait for 6 months before appointing ministers. We need to hit the ground running. But this is the good news as well, with how we've come. While we are still contesting for office, ideas that we have propagated is being borrowed and stolen relentlessly by the ruling party. Including yesterday, probably you heard that they have awarded the road contract from Lagos to Badagry. It was because we went to Badagry and complained about the fact that we actually encourage people of Badagry to secede from Nigeria and join Benin Republic, because it's better to join Benin Republic than to stay in a country that is changed. But now that I've awarded the contract, you heard about how we declared June 12th democracy there and restored the idea. Yes, but we've done so many things that they are still to the point that we are starting to pull back from exposing ourselves too much. But we have plans, we have structures in place to deliver the election. What we don't have, which we are not afraid to say, but sometimes very shy to ask, because sensitive issues, we don't have the finances to deliver immediately the biggest blow that we have been delivered to the political class in Nigeria. And this ties to the issue of consequences. Our brother Kume Adesha was saying that Nigeria don't have rule of law. It is true, but the best consequence that can be delivered to the political class in Nigeria is to defeat them next year, and that will usher in a new era of the end of impunity and the beginning of the rule of law. The rule of law cannot work in a country where people are accustomed to the rule of thumb, or the rule of the mob, or the rule of thieves. So the moment that big consequence is delivered onto them next year, you will start to see a Nigeria that will change from that day on. Nigeria is such a dynamic society that if you see new leadership, you'll be surprised that the same Nigerians that don't used to queue up for buses will do so if there are buses that will take them to their final destination. You know how Nigerians are. They can exist in heaven or hell, because for them, order is relative. In heaven, order is the first rule, and in hell is the last rule. Nigerians can exist anywhere you want to put them, depending on the leaders. If the leaders start doing what is right today in Nigeria, you'll be surprised how Nigeria will look the next day. And you can tell from the way Nigerians adapt and acclimatize to orderly societies. In Nigeria, that will never wait for traffic. In Nigeria, the moment they get into Australia, in fact, the police has knocked the doors. The thing has turned green. Oh, thank you, sir. And then we don't have to adapt. But where you don't have the conditions that aid rationality, what do you expect? You can't blame the people. So, what's back down to leadership? Kunle, by the way, the last question here has you know, and this is what drives me crazy. It's got like these great ideas with food security, food manufacturing and processing. You know, he gave us food this afternoon, and after we finished, he didn't want to scare us. He said the black-eyed peas cooked, you know, that we just ate had been cooked 2 years ago. If I knew, I wouldn't have tasted it. But we tasted as if it was just cooked, you know. This is Nigerian who knows exactly how to process food. From his shop, you can buy a goosey that is already processed, and it's been in a package for 2 years. And if you tear it open, warm it, it's as if you just cooked it. And what I could think about as an aspiring Nigerian leader is, this is right here how to feed children in school. You know, to have this massive processing of food, and you can just send a package to schools around the country. People can have lunch, they can have breakfast, they can have dinner before they go home. Nigerians are all over the place doing great things, you know. These skills are there. They're not asking for much. They just need the kind of leaders that provide objective conditions for them to deliver the best for their country. So I'll take the next 3 questions.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let me just make one or two announcements, please. Very shortly, we're going to be serving nice refreshments, you know. And we're here to give our support morally, yes, but financially. Because you see, I was discussing with a group of my friends in UK in 2016, and I just said, look, our fathers have failed us. The question is, are we going to fail our own children? The average age in that room that day will be about 40 plus or minus 5. You know, just wherever you see Nigeria and Ghana, we talk about, oh, what is happening in Nigeria and all that. And after all the discussion, I said, look, you guys are here in London, you're here in UK, you're enjoying life, but don't ever forget that as a person, you may say you won't fail your children. I mean, that's why you're working hard here, trying to provide for them. But as a generation, even if you've given the best to your own child, as a generation, we will still have failed our own children. Irrespective of whether you are in Australia, you're sending your kids to the best school, or you are in the US, or anywhere you are. So that's why when Shore started this campaign, it's not just, oh, Shore wants to become the president of Nigeria. It's a generational thing. And that heated argument with Shitu, that inconsequential minister, it wasn't to show that statement, it was to a generation. And look, we may not be many in this hall tonight. We don't need crowd to do great things. You see, we must be able to identify with this idea and say, it is our time to take back Nigeria, not just for us, but for our children's children. You know, for some of you that know a little more about me, you know, I'm here on scholarship because someone sees a potential in me and willing to pay for it, even when my government cannot pay for it. But I'm not holding on to that. I'm still going to go back and give back to my country. So what am I saying tonight? The money has to start coming. The greatest finance the greatest challenge that AAC has now, it's money. And if I were to beg, I will beg you tonight. Our target tonight is for us to be able to raise as much as possible. 30,000 Australian dollars to 40,000. I mean,
AAC, take it back.
It's possible.
The voice is very low. AAC,
take it back. Take it back.
It is not by mouth we will take it back. We have to put our resources where our mouth is.
Okay.
We're about 100 in this place. If you all contribute $200 or $300 each, we are getting close to it. So this is the account, and you can be sure that this every money that goes into this account is to AAC that is going to. So please start sending in your donation. Well, a good leader will always lead by example. So on behalf of myself, because the donation has started.
Ladies and gentlemen, AAC.
The donation has started, please, because this food will start coming. They're not really want the donation to start coming, please. So, food will start coming. The donation has started. So number 4, please come and ask your question. Don't forget to tell us your name and your area of expertise and your donation. You can just be the first person to donate.
Thank you. Whatever it is my name, by profession, I'm the criminal justice practitioner, so I work with the Department of Justice and Regulation. I've got a few comments and also questions. I'll start by quoting one of our revolutionary comrades, Franz Fanon, when he said, every generation out of the relative obscurity must discover their mission, either to betray it or to fulfill it. So our comrade here is fulfilling that mission for our generation. Our path have crossed in the early 90s. I was at Union Greek Abeokuta. We were close to people like Francis Abayomi and the likes at the time, and also Wale Okoni at Lagos University. So you're doing this for our generation, and we're really happy to have you here. My specific questions are, 1, I'll follow your campaign and the progress we've made in the last 8 months, but I've equally reflected, there are names, there are people that I know within the pro-democracy group, the human rights groups, both within and outside Nigeria, that personally I expected to be part of that campaign. I met some of our comrades in Nigeria, some in North America, and some in the UK. So I would like for you to shed more light. Was it a deliberate strategy not to carry some people along? Or was it a sort of Nigerians in Nigeria? I will need a bit of clarification on why this thing is not bigger than, than Showre. I know you carry people along, but I was expecting some people that are not part of that campaign. That's my number 1 question. The second one also is centered around the movement and the majority of people with that movement. One of the major criticisms of the campaign is that there's this tendency that there's a lot of focus within the student movements. But to really win an election in Nigeria, in a very practical terms, we need to go beyond just the student movement. So what are you really doing as a campaign to become more electorally viable and more competitive by really reaching out to the grassroots? Those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 5, please.
Thank you. My name is Restructuring. I'm a student of Masters of Social Work at Restructuring University. I have 2 questions. First one is, I saw one of your interviews on Arise TV, Ruben Abati, with Malcolm family, and you mentioned something that you have benefited from some massive investment in education in the 80s. Like you had something that you benefited from Nigeria, and so you want to give something back. For people of that generation, the very common thing that we get is that Nigeria has not done anything for me. So, what is my gain in sacrificing something for Nigeria? I would just rather take all of my family and bring them to wherever I am. So, in that case, they do not even want to do anything. There's political apathy, that generation. So, what is your comment to get these people to be part of this Take It Back movement? Second question is, I listened to your Spicer installation, and I've been looking for what particular plans you have for women and girls in Nigeria. Women and girls. Thank you.
Number six. Number six. Number six, sir.
Okay, thank you. Hello everyone.
Hey, Pastor.
My beloved brother, I thank God for this opportunity to meet you personally. Having been following you for a while. When I met you for the first time was I think there was an event somewhere, maybe in the States, where the officials turned very late. And when they thought it's their business as usual, you took the mic. And I think that was the first time I was introduced to you. Ever since then, there has been a lot of things that I have listened, I've been following you, and it's been an honor to really meet you in person today. I thank God for that. Now, my question is, you touched it on your opening address, because Nigeria has quality people. And I look at you, I see hope. But I have written in many places, and I have said in many places, that if God creates a brand new Nigerian and drop him down in Nigeria and make him president today, he will end up like everyone else. And the reason is because of the structure or foundation. The Bible talks about new wine, and it says you cannot put a new wine into an old wineskin. I'm looking at you as this vibrant new wine that is ready to do something. But the problem, as a doctor, which here we have doctors who understand that for any sickness to be properly cured, there has to be proper diagnosis. Nigeria problem can be traced to that document we hold as constitution. And until something is done to change that constitution, because that is the breeding ground for everything that is happening to Nigeria. We call it constitution, but it's actually a decree 24 that is put together by the military with the opening statement, we the people of Nigeria. Prior to that, Nigeria is a league of nations. I want to know what is your plan. When you mentioned that, I thought, wow, that is it. And that's what I'm here to really ask. What is the plan? Your plan, because every other person hasn't said anything in terms of, yeah, they're talking restructure, but the fundamental flaw for Nigeria is what we call the 99 Constitution. That is why the current members of assemblies, House of Assemblies and others, they are eating fat because of that. Nothing can change until something is done with it. What are your plans? Can you do it? Because that is the question. Thank you very much.
So, before you answer it, very sorry.
Okay.
But then you like to say something?
Yes.
Before you answer.
So guys, I could see some donations already coming in, but wait a sec. After the
question and answer. We're going to play the game for the fundraiser, right? Everybody will participate. The reason why we're donating to this account is we want to collect it all together in Melbourne and send you up to Shore so you can know that, yeah, this is the amount Melbourne is going to raise, because Melbourne is not going to disappoint. So, when the question and answer is over, we'll get back into the fundraising, where you can see hold on for now. After the question and answer, then we start with the fundraising.
So thank you. Question number 4 from Wanda is thank you. It said, why the pro-democracy campaigners not visible in this campaign? I would say the question is both yes and no. We had a high-profile meeting with Femi Falana leading. Femi Falana is the leading pro-democracy activist in Nigeria, where we took a decision that I should go and find a political party first, and after I have a political party, I should come back to the pro-democracy community, and they will take a decision as to how far they want to help. Yes, the movement is driven by pro-democracy activists. Maybe not necessarily the big names you are used to, but if you left Nigeria 20 years ago, Nigeria did not remain where it is. So there are younger, very rebellious pro-democracy activists that are and they are not driving this movement. Of course, Malcolm Family is a pro-democracy activist. He's our DG for the campaign and the movement. So, even our secretary, Luna Lesemwa, is Wilson, pro-democracy activist in his days. The part of the answer that may not be palatable is to also understand that the people who were pro-democracy activists, a lot of them have been sucked into autocracy that Nigeria became. Some of them are ministers now, some of them are consultants, some of them are embedded within the deeply corrupt system. I'm not in any way condemning anybody who decided to join government, but we no longer have that monolithic body of rebellious pro-democracy activists. A lot of them have also been decimated by hunger and poverty, that they no longer even have the ability to grow anything anymore. It's not only pro-democracy that should be part of this campaign. What about the young people that left not too young to run campaign? The moment Buhari signed the not too young to run bill, so many of them sided with the old people. You see the contradiction of our country. But we are going back to another meeting of pro-democracy activities very soon, and you'll hear more from more of them. Thank you. You asked this question about students separating our movement. Well, you know that when you want to do a revolution, you start with your foot soldiers. You use your background. My background, I'm well known mostly as a student activist before I went and started Sahara Reporters. Sahara Reporters is actually something I did differently because I was not happy with the media. I have no media experience. I was never trained as a journalist, as most of you know. But technology aided rebellion in the media space, and it was a successful project. But students are the people, the young people are those whose future are directly affected. And any movement that is revolutionary in nature will have people who are grieved. And in Nigeria, students and youth are the most aggrieved because 70% of them, and they are not apologetic about the fact that they want to take their country back. So we are very privileged and lucky to be leading that movement. But beyond students, we have a lot of people participating outside. The people in diaspora are not students, and there's a huge diaspora influence in our movement, as you can see, all the way from South Africa to Australia. You know, we are heading to London very soon, Ireland. We have invitation from China, of all places, Japan. Japanese people have been disturbing Mr. Arabia that I should stop over in Japan. How far is Japan from here, by the way? Number 5 question that Larry Shudin asked that I said, I got something and I'm giving something back. You know, I said that generically. You know, if you look at what Nigeria took from me, and you do the calculation, you minus what they gave to me from what they took from me, there's nothing left. So if you want to look at it critically, I have no reason to go back and give anything back to Nigeria based upon what I received. Because I only received 3 years of free education between 1980 and 1983, and Buhari struck, cancelled free education. Ever since then, I have been handed the shortest end of the stick, having been expelled from the university twice. I've never had a job in Nigeria, no job. I have never received scholarship except the free education I said I received. At the University of Lagos, there was almost no tuition. I went to the University of Lagos for 45 naira and 90 naira for accommodation. That's all. I was beaten, tortured. Till today, they are still after me. You know, even in the palace of the traditional ruler, I was tear gassed in Nigeria. I have no reason to think that I have something to give back. But there's a spirit that is pushing me and is in the heart of every one of you. It's that spirit that you just know that something different can happen in Nigeria, and you are somehow drawn to it. And different, you know, most of us are pushed by different reasons and different forces. Some are gravitational, and some other ones are the opposite side of it. But somehow, no matter how successful you are, in fact, the more successful you are outside of Nigeria, the more the likelihood you want Nigeria to be successful. Because as we are doing this movement, the people who are likely to oppose Nigerian development are the poorest people. If you go to Lagos now, the people who are likely following Bola Tinubu are people who are poor. If you go to Daura, the people who are saying that Buhari must come back are the poorest people. Yes. It's those of us who are successful, particularly outside of the country, that are at the forefront at this time, asking for Nigeria to make progress by fire, by force, as they say in churches in Nigeria. The people in Nigeria sometimes they fight us, we make us. Area boys hold us to ransom. During this campaign, I've been held to ransom over 5 times by area boys. I have to explain to them that, are you happy that this is the country that you rely on 5 naira, 500 naira? They said they don't care. That Nigeria can never be good again. Why are we bothering that? They want to collect their own instant gratification. And that they don't believe in any politician. There's nothing we can tell them that they have never heard before. So the people who are likely to oppose the agenda for development of Nigeria are people who are mostly affected. They are the downtrodden people. And that's why the work is complex, but doable, I can tell you. Spicer hits with women and girls. Definitely, when you have a program and project that is talking about education without discrimination, you're talking about girls and women. When you're talking about security, who are the most affected by security, vulnerable, women, health, girls, women, and but specifically, we have said this in the notes, we may not have seen it in the document, we've said it at various fora, that we will come to government with 50-50 leadership, both women and men. So our ministers will be 50% women, 50%. In fact, we were furiously searching for a female vice presidential candidate. But you know, we were looking more in the northern part of Nigeria, and they have suppressed women so much in the north that there are a few women who wanted to come out and said they will kill them if they come out post Buhari. So not a lot of them were courageous enough to want to be VP. They said they don't know how to sustain it over time. But the liberation that girls, women need, men need, will come from what we are doing now. And of course, specifically, there will be projects here that in terms of protecting them, absolute rule of law. Women, girls have been oppressed, have been discriminated against still in our system. It is unacceptable, and our party makes no pretension about the fact that we will make sure that they are given the place of glory. But most importantly, I say this, there are more women in Nigeria than men. If women decide today in Nigeria that they want to vote for a presidential candidate, they will win the election free and fair hands down. But I also think that there's still that kind of self-censorship by women, because society hasn't allowed them to openly express their preferences or their freedom that they need to also break away from. And I think this movement is giving a lot of them a chance to express themselves. We have women governorship candidates in AAC. We have women House of Rep candidates, and I think Senate as well. So we can boast of that liberating effect for women in the party. The last question was about the Nigerian Constitution. I was there in Nigeria in 1992. We attempted to stage a sovereign national conference or a constitutional conference because other countries were doing it, and the police came and arrested all of us. It was led by Akabashan at that time. I was a student leader under Babangida. And ever since then, we've been saying that the military has no right to impose on Nigeria with a decree, Decree 24, you're right, a constitution that says boldly that we, the people of Nigeria, when the people of Nigeria were not part of the decision that brought about the constitution, a constitution that is legitimate must undergo a referendum. And it's the same thing that I've said about Nigeria. Nigeria should not be afraid to confront its follies. So if Nigeria has been just to a lot of people and they're asking for restructuring, Nigeria must allow restructuring to happen. But in a room full of people like this, if we don't, one day Nigeria can escape, but it cannot hide from all the injustices that are done against different nations within the Nigerian nation itself. I agree with you that Nigeria is a nation state made of nationalities. But you know what is tearing us apart is not the fact that we speak different languages, it is the fact that we have a system that's unjust and unfair to the Nigerian people. Even the big elephant in the room, which is the Biafran struggle, what is it about? It's about justice. If there's justice today, meted to the Biafrans, as we know them today, they have the most at stake in Nigeria. Most likely, an Igbo man is the one that has the house in Kano, in Sokoto. You know, if you look deep down their minds, they don't want to leave Nigeria because Nigeria presents them a great opportunity for prosperity. But without justice, nobody wants to stay in Nigeria. I say to people, assuming Australia wakes up one day, I said they want to carve Australia into 4, and they will allocate 1 to Nigerians. So they want to bring in as many Nigerians as possible. 70% of Nigerians are willing to leave Nigeria today if they have the votes. I mean, 70% of the population of Nigeria will be willing to leave that country. A lot of Nigerians, not necessarily Biafrans alone, have mentally seceded from Nigeria. They are just waiting for their visa to leave. A lot of Nigerians that are living in Nigeria today are living in Nigeria because they are trapped within the nation state known as Nigeria. But when you bring justice back to Nigeria, Nigerians will stay in Nigeria. How many of you know how many countries in the world to which South Africans can go visa free? A lot of countries. But South Africans are not traveling to those countries because they don't need to leave their country. You go to South Africa, the same highway you have here system is the same thing you have in South Africa. The same education system you have here is almost the same way they have in South Africa. The same hospital system you have here is the same way they have. Why would the South African want to go and stay in Australia? South Africa is 9 hours from here. I have not met a South African since I came to Australia who says I migrated here. And they are closer to Australia because they have no reason to come and do indentured servitude in another advanced country. But everywhere we went since I came, Nigeria everywhere, pharmacist, Nigeria, doctor, Nigeria, engineer, Nigeria. A lot of Nigerians are leaving the country to go and work elsewhere because Nigeria is not habitable for a lot of Nigerians. So we'll take the last
Yes.
Well, let's take the last 4 questions because we have number 6. Yeah, the last one we can answer all of them.
Number 7.
Sorry, this would be the last
question. Yeah. Last 4 questions, and we can go back to where we're here.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm honored to be with our president today. I've been following you online, and I've been seeing the good work you've been doing. I follow Sahara Reporter, and today I'm really happy to see a young person like this speaking on behalf of our generation. My question is, do you have a godfather? Because in countries, even in Australia, we have politicians that still rely on people they go to before they do anything. When I saw you coming out of Brisbane Airport, I saw you alone without the entourage, and you've been doing your network movement alone in Australia with the support of the people here. Do you consider seeing somebody like Obasanjo to go and meet him to take his blessing? Because most of the Nigerians go to Obasanjo and he will bless them. Then, how are you planning to take care of security issue in Nigeria? Because at the moment, I see that you are vulnerable. Are you not scared that you will be attacked? These cabals will do something to silence you. Thank you. My name is Adini. I'm a journalist with Channel 31.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Akinola.
Take it back!
Take it back!
Action!
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Charles Akinola, and I'm a risk and immigration consultant. And my questions I'll put it into 3. And the first one is, what's your plan to stop the ideology of money politics in Nigeria? And the second one is, what's AAC take or lesson learned from the just concluded Ekiti and Osun election? In terms of, I looked at the election, I couldn't really see a strong vote from AAC or a representative in that area, because that's more like a template for what's going to happen in 2019. And the third one is, you've talked about how we can contribute to funding, but apart from funding, how can every one of us here contribute towards this movement? How can we reach out? Or what's the template or something that you've shared across people from US or UK on how we can actually reach out and make this thing happen? Thank you.
Thank you. Number 8. All right. Okay. So I think we good. Oh, all right. So that's the last one.
Yeah. Very nice.
Okay. Do you want to start walking towards me as well? So we just round it up.
Strictly points. We don't have much time.
Hi, good evening all, and welcome, Shoren, President in the making. My name is Elvis, and my background is property valuation, so we undertake mortgage security work for the banks in Australia. Now, my question relates to your campaign, one of them, slogan, which is "Take it back," correct? I recall as a young man in the primary and secondary school back in the days, I was made to believe, and rightly so too, that I am the leader of tomorrow. That's what, we used to be told in school. You are all the leaders of tomorrow. Now, several years down the track, the same leaders who were in power when I was told that I'll be a leader of tomorrow are still the same leaders that I see today.
Is it going to be a dog?
Well, maybe I've also. My question is, how do you intend to, what sort of strategies do you have in place to tackle this hydra-headed problem that's been there for God knows how long? What plans do you have to actually take it back from these people, this cabal who have hijacked it from us for so long. My second question relates to my background. So if you look at the Nigerian property industry, the mortgage industry is almost non-existent. There's no data in Nigeria. Sometimes I question how people undertake the valuation profession in Nigeria. So is there anything in the making to sort of engender that, that mortgage industry where it now becomes easy for people who, no matter what you earn, you're able to get onto the property ladder without having, as we have it now, to pay full, the full payment for a property if you intend to buy one. Any plans for that? Thank you.
No, it's me. Let's just a little break. Hello, my name is Ted Godwin. I am an entrepreneur, a business owner. I've just got a question very briefly about the social media and what the ASC team is doing with it. I know the ASC and the Take It Back movement was built off about social media, and that's how we all got to know about it. I've been following the movement for the past 6 to 7 months now. So now I've just recently observed that there's a lot of talks about Atiku and Buhari, and it's as if though that the AAC movement is taking the back bench from the social media that we know them to be up, at the forefront of. So what are you guys doing? Because I've been watching a lot of surveys and things on the internet, and I can see that out of the polls, it's either you're going third, or fourth, or fifth, and Fela, and all super. But articulated and Buhari are still taking those spots. So it's as if the ASC movement is being displaced of what you actually own. So what are you doing to take the media back and get your name out there, get the team out there, get ASC back out there, and reach as many people as possible? Thank you.
All right, last one. Yeah, thank you very much. Welcome to Melbourne. My name is Michael Bono. I'm a legal practitioner. I'm doing my master's degree in energy and resources law at Melbourne University. Also, you talked about a scholarship from the Australian government. I'm also a beneficiary. My question is very simple. What is going to be ASC's foreign policy if they come into governance in Nigeria? Is it going to be pro-West, pro-East? And now what is ASC's view about the impending popularity of China in Africa? Because some of us have viewed it as the scramble for an expansion of Africa 2.0. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you for these great questions. Like I said before, trying my best to answer these questions to the best of my ability. And the first question is about Godfathers. I have come to retire Godfathers. I have particular aversion to the people you refer to as Godfathers, to the extent that I made a promise that if going to Ambassador's house is the only way to win this election, I will never go to it. They are the people who destroyed Nigeria, people who destroy your future. I mean, your past can never guarantee your future, is what I said during celebration.
Take it back!
I don't believe in Godfathers. We have ceded a lot of our democratic space to these criminal Godfathers, and it is time to dismantle, uncouple, and abandon them, and trash them completely. And we can do it. So I don't have any Godfathers. If I had Godfathers, you would have known by now. Somebody would have found out that there's somebody who is behind Showore. Of course, before now, they allocate Godfathers to me as it suits their agenda. There was a time they said I was working for even Obasanjo. when Obasanjo was fighting Atiku. When Atiku was having an upper hand, he said I was working for Atiku. And when Jonathan was having an issue with the Arab Cabal, he said I was working for Jonathan. When Jonathan was having an issue with Buhari, he said I was working for Buhari. When Tinubu was having an issue with Buhari, he said I was working for Tinubu. All kinds of rumors and lies fabricated and thrown at me. But what you all know today is that I stand alone, and I believe with a clean conscience we can get rid of the godfathers in politics. So I monetize our political system and commoditize the conscience of our people. So no godfathers for me. I'm very sorry. With regards to security, I'll say this: I don't discuss security publicly and openly. It doesn't make any sense. But the best way to be secure in a country like Nigeria is to fight for Nigeria that is just and fair and egalitarian to all. Physical security is not something that anybody can boast of. Nobody can be secure in an unjust, unfair country like Nigeria. When I decided to take on the system, I decided to forego my personal safety or security. And I've been doing that since I was in the university. Throughout my university days, there was almost parked in front of our university gate an armored tank. And yet, we fought the military and brought about democracy. And not me alone, but including the gentleman at the back who went to UNAC, University of Agriculture in Abeokuta. We fought very hard. So I don't want to be distracted by looking over my shoulders. We have to march towards the revolutionary salvation of Nigeria, and security should not be an impediment for us. I would rather that this country becomes secure next year, no matter what it takes, than for me to be secure in a country that is insecure. Akinola asked about money politics. What are we doing to retire money politics? I think it's to bring about politics of ideas. And we are always asking for these ideas. We have to make ideas become the new currency for engaging in politics in Nigeria to retire money politics. That is not to say that money will not play any role in politics. Even here in Australia, I'm sure your politicians need money. And some of you, interestingly, some Nigerians spend more money in politics of other countries. When Obama was running, the Nigerian community gave Obama more money than any African immigrant group. In fact, they raised $2 billion for Obama in Nigeria. That never made it to Obama. They raised money for Obama. They had Obama clothes, they wore Obama Ankara, which was fraud. So, what money politics can't do for us. I mean, the best politics can do is the Nigeria we see today. But the politics of ideas, we retire that. But it's also for us to understand that money doesn't come from big men alone. As we're sitting here in this room, there's possibly a Nigerian sitting around here who can afford to give us $20,000 to fight this battle. But hasn't gotten himself convinced to the point that Nigeria is worth that investment. And it's not going to do that. There are Nigerians who are watching us, listening from all over the world, who can afford to give us a lot of money, but they haven't been able to see Nigeria as worthy of investment. And that's our job, to ensure that we convince them, to push them to that position where they can support progressively a country that works for all. Elvis, he was talking about the campaign slogan, take it back. Take it back is what it is take it back. If you have your future stolen from you, your roads, your education, health, security, power sector, everything taken from you, for you to move in another direction, you have to recover everything first. And we're not the only ones using Take It Back, by the way. Recently, in the US, they started using Take It Back. Obama was leading one of the campaigns to take America back from Donald Trump. So, but the idea started from us in Nigeria. It's a popular idea across the world. When people are cheated, when they feel they've lost something fundamental to their existence, they use the hashtag "Take It Back." You also mentioned strategy to take it back. Well, it's in the public domain. We are mobilizing people, we are organizing lectures, we are changing ideas, engaging social media, we are challenging the status quo ante. We are confronting them wherever they need to do it. Somebody mentioned it earlier, I think it was the MC, that they didn't understand what this was about until they saw the radio show I had with the minister. And that radio show didn't last more than 10 minutes. Maybe it was 15 minutes at most. It was between me and the Minister of Communication, or Minister of Miscommunication, the analog minister. It was there, in my view, after that interview, that we established the need for a generational change in Nigeria. And everybody who watched that interview said, this is it. This is the reason why Nigeria cannot go to these people. This is the new voice of reason and the need for us to support the need for progress in the country. You mentioned about properties in Nigeria. I think what is killing the Nigerian property market is interest rates, if you ask me. Apart from the fact that you mentioned that there's actually a database in Nigeria. In the course of our research, discovered that there are 4 places where people are gathering data in Nigeria, but there's no data synergy. If you go to the immigration department, people collecting passports, they are collecting data, including about data. You go to INEC, INEC is collecting the same data, your bio data. You go to bank, they have your data, BVN, your bio data. You go to driver's license office, they are collecting data. You go to phone companies, they have the biggest amount of data. Phone companies have over 10 million Nigerians in their database. But we don't have like a data security situation that can make the government be in possession of Nigerian data. From there you can tell how many people are in need of housing, what our interest rate should be. There's no way you can have businesses flourish when they are borrowing from banks at rate of 27% interest rate. Even America, as capitalistic as it is, their general interest rate is around 4 to 7%. But in Nigeria, 27% interest rate. There's nobody who can afford to borrow in such an economy. If you borrow at 47%, 27%, there's no way you can pay back. So who are the people who have access to borrow? The same thieves, politicians. And when they borrow and they cannot pay back, Nigeria then takes over their toxic debt and pay them, and buy them over through what they call alcohol, the scam organization. So, but most importantly, I think with the housing in Nigeria, we have to do what they do here in Australia. Every first-time buyer of a home should be entitled to grants from the federal government. And that will encourage a lot of people to get into the property market, and make property market to be fluid, and we can have low interest rates to start with, and encourage Nigerians. But government, as a rule, or priority, must get in the game of housing for the majority of Nigerians. We are short of 17 million houses in Nigeria. We have to build that first. You have to create a property, you have to build properties first before you can create the property markets. Otherwise, a lot of people are priced out of the market, and you cannot have a conversation that is rational when the landlord wants to pay for 2 years of rent in advance. One landlord in Lagos has paid for 15 years of rent. And yes, he said you can pay 15 years of rent in advance. I'm telling him, like, in 15 years, I wish still to be alive, the two of us. In this Nigeria, where, it's crazy. Said you mentioned about social media, Atiku Buhari. I want to tell you something about social media. There's a difference between inorganic social media presence and organic social media presence. What you see Atiku and Buhari doing on social media, they pay for it massively. Atiku is not paying less than 20 million naira to some Americans who have been brought into the country to help with his social media strategy. So they are creating fake accounts, you know, and they are doing fake polls. But at the end of the day, with the money they are spending, when you dig deep down into the organic nature of interaction that people are having, we are doing better than them. But they are able to use money stolen from the Nigerian people to control the social media space. But I tell you, even with all of their money and the little we have, we are doing particularly well. For example, it's very difficult for anybody to beat us on Facebook. Any poll, they have done it several times. Now they have left Facebook and moved to Twitter. It's very difficult for anybody to also defeat us on Instagram. Even though I don't have 1 million followers on Instagram. But also forget that they also use celebrities. They pay celebrities to help them manipulate public opinion. So, for example, a celebrity that has 4 million people, they go get paid. You have no idea how many of these people get paid money. So, you know, sometimes the news you see that is presented as some kind of investigative report is written by them and presented to newspapers, and newspapers report them as if it's their original works. They pay off the media, they pay off the conventional media, now they are paying off people in the social media space to ensure that we don't have an opportunity to be heard. But the truth is that organically, when I mean organically, we are doing better than them in terms of people who are real, who are genuinely engaging. But what I'll tell you, which is important, is that it's not enough to complain that we're not doing well in social media. You also have to get in the social media space. You must have noticed something on Facebook in particular. If you put a status update on Facebook, real people will not comment, but bad people, they will see 10 comments of the same guy on the status because he wants to dominate your space in such a way that he discourages other people. But your friends who agree with you, instead of them to comment, they now call you on the phone. I see your status update too. It's very nice. They'll tell, why don't you make a comment? Because in a place that it is not dangerous to do so. But instead you are calling me or you are liking, you don't have to, you should do something concrete. And this is a time to invite people not to be afraid to take a position in one Nigeria. So if you have a friend that has written that is articulating, you too can put under it we are deactivating articulators. You know, and it becomes dominant opinion when people say that, oh, chief, who they respect a lot, stated his position on Atiku. Oh, pastor, who they respect a lot, stated his position. But if pastor takes a position in a different section of Facebook, which is where you give reaction, where you like, sometimes some people don't even know the difference between what they like and what they don't like. Because Facebook don't let you, there are other, yes, don't let you express your real emotions. But the best way to express your real emotion is to make comments. And I urge you guys to do that. If you are not on Twitter, get in the game. Because you don't take over the social media space from bad people. Bad people will make you look as if they are representing you when they claim that they are articulating, whereas they are only hyperventilating for corruption. So that would be my position on social media, but nobody has displaced us. I tell you, we haven't spent up to $150,000 since we started. Atiku in one day in Port Harcourt spent $20 million to buy delegates. Well, not buy them, to buy the PDP presidential candidacy for himself. $20 million. We are looking for $2 million, ladies and gentlemen. That is how much we want on GoFundMe. If we get it, no one of these guys, the election will be over before it is over. We know how to deactivate them. We have been fighting them. I am a cabal, you know, what we call cabacide, a killer of cabals. We have been doing this killing cabals within the Nigerian context, and we can do more. We just need your support. With our $2 million, Atiku spending $200 million will still not be able to catch up because we won't be able to cope, because there's no way they can sanitize their past.
There's no way Atiku will tell me that the 300 and something pages document written about his corruption by the US Senate is not true. It's not possible. It's public information. There's no way Atiku will explain to me how he made his money from customs. There's no way Atiku will tell me that he has plans for education when he has a private school that most Nigerians cannot afford to go to. There's no way Atiku will tell me that he's in love with Nigerian children when he's never done anything to help them before. He has only done something for himself. The same thing with Buhari. There's nothing Buhari has to offer. It's very clear. Buhari is naked as we speak. They are all in trouble. But we need you morally. And morally means that get in the social media space, call people at home. In fact, people are placing sanctions on their families over this matter from abroad. If you don't vote for the right candidates, you are not hearing from Western Union from me anytime soon.
Take it back! Action! Take it back!
That message is sinking. We have an enormous influence on our people at home, and we must use that influence because they use their own influence too on us. So it's time to reciprocate. I think finally somebody asked about is foreign policy. If it's pro-West or pro-China or pro-American. No. Our foreign policy is going to be pro-Nigerian person. What does the West do? The West support their own citizens. If an American is held up anywhere, the American government will send a jet to go and extricate him. If a Nigerian is sentenced to death, it's the Nigerian government that will not be asking the government of that country, when are you killing him?